Hello and welcome to another edition of St. Louis Presents. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with my friends Vern Fuller and April Trupiano.
Hi, Debbie.
We have some very interesting topics to discuss because something that has been discussed in the Archdiocese of St. Louis for a while has finally come to fruition, and people can't stop talking about the alcohol ban. You've followed this, right, guys?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the Archbishop has said now that alcohol cannot be served or brought to events in whether it's CYC or whatever it is, if it's specifically geared towards minors. Some people say it makes sense. Other people say this is the worst news I've ever heard, Vern.
I have not seen any minors consuming alcohol at any Catholic events. Let's just be real about it. So I don't know that this is an issue.
But it's not that. Here's where I say it's an issue, because I told you, we were just having a heated discussion at the Halloween gathering with my family, because there were most of everybody was against it. But I said, you know, we just came from the event called Trunk or Treat, right? And you've got 2-year-olds and 1-year-olds running around. One of those kids runs away from mommy and daddy, and you got a drunk parent backing up out of a parking space? Absolutely not, because those people had big old jugs in their hand and wine glasses everywhere, and I'm saying yay for it.
I think that's the one bad apple possibly spoiling the bunch.
It wasn't one.
But what message does it
parents.
send to children if we're at an event at 10 o'clock in the morning and all the grown-ups are like, "Brr, we've got our beers."
Exactly.
Well,
you
hang
can't
on,
have an
Debbie,
event
wait a
without
second.
alcohol.
Does this mean we're going to not use wine in communion?
It's just a sip, though.
Well,
and it's
different.
It's actually the blood of Christ.
It's
Keep that in
scripture.
mind.
There you go.
In scripture, all things in moderation.
Exactly.
Well, one of the other big concerns, on the one hand, it's, well, we can't, this is a bad example for kids. On the other hand, there are a lot of parishes that make tens of thousands of dollars who have funded their athletic fields by selling beer at the concession stands.
Yes.
Right.
And will the Archdiocese help them to make up some of that money that they are going to lose because they can't sell beer
Well, this
anymore?
has been a tradition that's gone on for so long. I don't see where suddenly this is a problem that they must change the way of being and the history of fundraising for so many years. I don't see, and I'm going to go back to thinking that maybe this is just an isolated event that now has created a precedent where they have to change alcohol consumption at these
Well, we
events.
can still have it at fish fries and trivia nights and that kind of thing, but at events geared towards kids, not. And speaking of kids, there are a couple of other stories that have made the news, and I'm sure everyone has noticed that girls are growing up a lot faster these days in more ways than one. And some people have been wondering, why are girls reaching puberty seemingly so much earlier?
I'm going to say it's because of the hormones and chemicals that are in the diets. I mean, let's face it, we're the only civilized country in the world that allows meat glue. Are you familiar with this?
Meat glue?
Meat glue.
Are you talking about pink slime?
It's a gelatinous substance that if you can take meat scraps and put them back together and make something that looks like it was natural.
Well, the bottom line is that we have hormones in all of our foods. We have chemicals and hormones in our foods, and it is whacking out our kids' health systems, their GI systems, causing all of these problems. And
well, we are definitely going to be taking a closer look at that in the weeks to come as more research comes out. But we have a lot to get to today. So here's another thing. If you're worried about keeping your diet on track during this holiday season, and aren't we all, it's impossible to get away from the food at this time of year. Well, we have a dietitian in the house to share some tips on how to keep your waistline from expanding during the holidays. Plus, it may be cooling off outside, but a local theater is really heating things up on the stage. So we'll tell you how you can catch a racy show that may leave you blushing a bit. But first, let's take a quick break. Stay with us here on St. Louis Presents.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
If you find yourself in need of a little spending money, now is a great time to be looking for a seasonal job. And here to give us some tips on what to look for, how to look for it, as well as not to get scammed, is Vice President of Communications for the Better Business Bureau, Thetford.
Hi.
Hi. I'm excited you're here.
Good, I'm glad to be here.
Because there's some scary stuff going on out there.
There are.
Yeah. Before we get into that, though, tell us a little bit about what the BBB does. We've known about it forever, but what does it really do?
Right, the BBB's been in St. Louis for 96 years. We're a voluntary trade association. Yeah, we've been around a long time. Yeah, we're an institution here in St. Louis. So we're a trade association, and it's businesses who support the BBB and support our mission, which is to make this marketplace a fair place for consumers and businesses. And all of the work that we do focused on that. And everything we do is actually offered free to the community. So some of the things you probably know about the BBB, like complaint resolution, where people file complaints, all done for free, all financed by our ethical accredited businesses. All of our dispute resolution, all of the work that we do with communications, all the work we do with charities, all offered for free to the community, all paid for by the contributions of ethical businesses in our community. So it's a really neat service that we're able to offer to people in the area.
I love it. Now, and how long have you been there?
I've been there almost 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you do all the communications, you do marketing as well?
I do, yeah. So I do a lot of interviews like this, but also work on things like our website. And we go out and give presentations, and anything that has to do with letting people know about the BBB and what we do, that comes through my department.
Now, you know, I mentioned that this is a good time to be looking for a seasonal job.
Perfect time.
What are some of the things that people need to know about looking for a seasonal job?
The first thing that we would say at the BBB is that people need to know that there are a lot of jobs out there actually that are available this time of the year. You know, we typically think of retail, but there are also jobs available in the food service industry and things like that. So we know, for example, Walmart's planning on hiring 55,000 people. So the first tip is you need to start your job search early. And this, like you said, is a really great time to do that. So you need to be thinking about where you would like to work and how you can make that happen. One good tip for people is to try to apply for jobs at places where they actually already shop.
I love this one because you know the people, right?
You know the people and you know the products. So you need to remember during this time period, employers realize it's a short training period. So if they can find people who know their business and know their products, you might be a good fit. And also it can work out for you if you get one of these jobs because you could end up with a large discount that you can spend during the holidays of 20 to 40%, which is another positive thing.
I love that part.
You love that part too. So focus on places
Good
where
for
you know the
Christmas
product.
gifts, holiday gifts,
exactly. Yeah. And then you also get the discount. So it can be a double win for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's also a kind of a scary side, and I was reading about how people are getting scammed. So, you know, can you give us just a quick view of just a few things people need to look for?
Sure, this is really something that we hear about regularly at the BBB, and it's really sad. So you have people who are looking for jobs. We know that people are still having challenges finding jobs, and there are scammers out there that want to take advantage of that. So things we hear about is that people get offered opportunities to work from home. Unfortunately, when we hear about those, it's very difficult. They'll make promises that say you can become rich without leaving your house. The truth of the matter is it's very difficult to find a job from the outset where you can work from home. So be very careful if you get one of those offers.
And is there someplace on the site where people can find a lot of this information? Where can they find that?
Sure, absolutely. So you can come to our website 24 hours a day at bbb.org. Everything you and I have talked about here is on the site. Lots of resources for people, whatever they're looking for. You can check out businesses before doing business. You can check out charities.
Excellent. And they can also phone you at?
Absolutely. 314-645-3300, Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock.
Excellent. I love it. And I have been on the site. There is just
It's
crazy
a wealth
amount.
of information.
Wealth of information.
For sure, and it's
Thank
all
you.
there free for anyone who wants to access it.
Well, thank you again. Thank
you.
so much.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick look at some better ways to eat for the holiday season. Checking it out with Vern and Debbie.
Thanks, April. You know, we all tend to overindulge a little bit on the holidays. It's hard to get away from food, whether it's at the office or at home. Everywhere you go, somebody's putting food in your face. But how can you enjoy some of that food without completely blowing your diet?
Well, with us, registered dietitian Jamie Cassell from Nutriformance is here to help us make it through the holidays without packing on the pounds. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you for having me. So we're going to start out with just a quick little quiz for you guys. Sugar is a big piece of the holidays. It's a big part of what we do, but not all sugar is necessarily bad sugar. So we want to I want you guys to rank from highest sugar content to lowest sugar content with these foods. So what do you think?
Quizzing us.
I'm putting you to the test.
Quizzing us.
Well, since this is a quiz and a test, it's probably a trick. So I'm going to go with like maybe the candy corn would be the lowest sugar just
The
because.
lowest sugar?
Yeah.
The lowest sugar? I'm going to say the candy corn is the highest sugar, and I'm going to follow that by saying the hot chocolate may be tied for the candy corn in terms of highest sugar.
So pretty close. So these two are right in the middle. Our highest sugar is actually our piece of pumpkin pie here.
No kidding.
It
Is
has
it
about-
made with natural pumpkin?
It is
Real
natural pumpkin, but there is a lot of added sugar that goes into the baking process.
Aha.
So it is a more processed added sugar.
Now, I love sweet potatoes because
And
they're great to pop in the microwave and
They're
just eat.
super easy.
Are they high in sugar?
Sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes are also great options. They are a little bit higher in sugar, but the difference between the two is that is a more natural occurring sugar. Same thing with the pomegranate. It's the lowest sugar content on the table. The second highest is going to be our hot chocolate and our candy corn. 10 pieces of candy corn actually has about 16 grams of sugar in it. But when you're looking at the pumpkin pie, the candy corn, and the hot chocolate, those are more of our added sugars, whereas the more naturally occurring sugars are going to be the better options
Okay,
more
simplify
often.
this for me. The one with the highest sugar content is the,
Pumpkin pie.
no kidding.
And
How
then the
about
hot
that?
chocolate.
Well, plus, and the advantage of a pomegranate is you actually get a workout trying to pick each little piece out of the pomegranate.
Well
So you
said,
burn
well
calories.
said. And then you got to
Absolutely.
wash
There
the
you go.
clothes from the stains you get on there. So
And so really the bottom line here is, striving more for natural occurring sugars is going to be a better bet than going for those added sugars. So that's really kind of the bottom line with this.
Well, here's what happens over the holidays, and I bet Vern will back me up on this. Now, you do this for a living, so you, I'm sure, are always right on, on track. But so you kind of go nuts. You go to a party and you eat too much, and then you figure, well, I blew today, so then dinner
don't
comes
worry
and you
about it.
just you
bets off.
Right,
it's a
so-
downhill slide.
And so there's a couple key pieces when you get started. So first thing in the morning, the first thing you want to think about if you know you're going to be going to a party is you really want to make sure you get breakfast. Now a lot of people think, well, we'll skip breakfast, save the calories so that we can really have a great time at that party. But what happens is you end up consuming more when you go to that party if you haven't eaten breakfast because you're hungrier by the time you get there. So you'd be much better off by going for a great breakfast, get a good start to the day, go high protein and high fiber.
we have that posted.
Yeah, and so really making sure that we're getting those good things in the beginning of the day will set yourself up for success.
Let me give myself and Debbie a head start on excuses. But Jamie, isn't it true, or is it true, that genetically we are programmed to add on weight in the winter months?
Now,
Does this go back to like Neanderthal days where we didn't know where the next meal was coming
At
from?
least that's why we like to say we're carb loading, right?
Exactly,
That-
exactly.
that's
It's
kind
in
of
our
the
genetic
excuse or the-
makeup.
Now, there is a tendency, we tend to be less active, there's less light hours in the day, so it does make it more challenging to get that physical activity in, but it doesn't mean that we have to pack on the pounds over the holiday season.
You're saying our bodies are not genetically designed to store fat in the colder months?
Well, I mean, they can, and if you
Mine
if you
certainly
if you
does.
let
Well, you
that
don't need
happen,
it. You can get a coat, Vern.
there you go. Stick with that coat, and we'll keep the body healthy for the
Okay.
winter months this year.
Okay.
So a couple other things when you're thinking about really getting active and thinking about making those healthier choices over the winter months and during the holidays, you also want to really make sure that you're staying hydrated. During the summer months, you're hot, it's hot outside, it's easier to think about drinking fluids and staying hydrated.
Sure.
During the winter months, we're not quite as likely to do that, and so making sure that you're staying hydrated can also help with a couple other things. It will help with keeping yourself from getting too hungry. It's very hard sometimes to recognize the difference between thirst and hunger. When in doubt, you're going to go for food first, and so if you stay hydrated, you're less likely to overeat throughout the holidays.
Good.
Okay, Jamie, thanks. Great stuff. We've got about 1 minute. We've got to wrap up. We've got a graphic up with Nutriformance. Tell us a little bit more about Nutriformance in about 15 seconds.
We
Can
are
you
a
do
full
that?
fitness facility. We offer personal training, physical therapy, massage therapy, obviously nutrition counseling and nutrition coaching. So basically we try and get you healthy under one roof. Everybody's working together to create the most healthy environment for you.
Awesome.
All right, so eat breakfast, stay hydrated, and think of it like money. If you blow a bunch of money, at one store, then you just have
Right.
to budget for the next thing,
There
right?
you go. It's all about budgeting.
Same thing with your food and your calories. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, being in the hospital is never easy for anyone, but it's especially tough, and especially during the holidays, for kids.
But as our Steve Potter shows us, a group of clowns is doing what it can to bring laughter to young patients and their families. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Steve Potter. We're here at SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center. We're hanging out with Circus Flora's Clowns on Call. So let's go down the hall and see what all the fun's about.
So our floors, we have patients all ages 0 to 21. We see any and every diagnosis, but all of our patients absolutely love the clowns. It makes their day.
Why?
So, it's something that they don't get to see every day. They don't get to see clowns every day, and our clowns have music. It's very, very therapeutic for them. Engages them in play, which is a very important part of kids and teenagers. But it engages them in play, and they absolutely love it. It's very beneficial and therapeutic for our patients.
So specifically, have you seen like transformations in kids before this happens, and then the clowns come in, and maybe they come back a couple of times? Or what do you really see?
We actually have patients that are very, very withdrawn, and then when Claire and they come in and they are great with the patients. They're great to assess, if it's too much for the patient, they'll back off, and then they always can break the ice, and at the end they'll have patients, smiling. They love it, but I've definitely seen patients that are withdrawn kind of come out of it. We also have patients that are chronic that depend on her visit every week. And then when she shows up, it's like Christmas. They absolutely love it.
What have you heard some of the kids say?
That they love Claire. They love the music. We always know if she's come because they have a little peacock, the feather in their rooms, and they're like, she was great. We loved her. We loved the music. They all have positive things to say.
And what do you think a hospital would be like without clowns?
Probably not as good. So not as fun. So she definitely makes it a fun place.
Oh, I love this program, April. Clowns on Call is one of the many outreach programs of Circus Flora, and I have to say, in full confession, I'm on the Circus Flora board. It's a great organization, but Clowns on Call,
I was looking at the little kids. They were having such a blast. And we were just saying how some kids are scared, or some clowns, just feels odd. But those kids were just loving it.
Claire is a wonderful clown,
Yeah.
and some of the parents will say that is the first time my kid has smiled since they've been in the hospital. So it's such a wonderful program.
It's perfect.
Well, we're going to talk about a little different entertainment, not for kids, but for the grown-ups. In fact, joining us right now is Bess Moynihan, and she is with Hot City Theater, and it's maybe, let's have you explain it. Tell us about Hot City Theater.
Hot City has been around in St. Louis for, we're going into our 14th season starting in January. But we produce contemporary issue-oriented theater. We do world premieres, regional premieres. We often present contemporary classics, so edgy, interesting theater, live theater.
Now, you've been with them for about 5 years.
Yes, in some facet or another. I've been the managing director for almost 2 years now.
What do you love about it? Because you were saying some great stuff in the green room. What makes you guys different? What that you love?
I think Hot City's different because we choose edgier shows with more adult content and things like that. But we also we're kind of a grassroots organization. We're a bunch of artists putting art on, and we're always very proud of every show we produce, and it's always a very community sort of environment.
So if, say, somebody might have a hard time getting their husband to go to the theater.
Hot City is where you can get them to go to the theater. So we do edgier shows, and it's a universal sort of thought-provoking theater, but it's fun.
Now, you've got you're about to wrap up your season, right? And the new season's in January, but what's the one that's running currently?
The show we are going to open on December 6th is called Kosher Lutherans. And it's a show about a couple that lives in LA, and they're trying to adopt a baby. And so they've gone and found this young woman who's pregnant, and she's sort of from a backwoods area, very Bible-bumping Christian, and they're Jewish. And so they find out that if she were to find out they were Jewish, that she might not give the child up for adoption to them. So it takes place over the holidays. It's a hilarious comedy. It's written by William Missouri Downs, who was a scriptwriter in Hollywood, and he is, we've produced one of his shows before, and they've been produced by Samuel French. And he's actually coming to see the show the second weekend. He will be seeing the show, and then we're going to host talkbacks on Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th of December, or I'm sorry, the 14th and 15th, I think. But yeah, that Friday and Saturday, the second weekend. So we'll be talking about the show and the themes and writing and the process of writing.
So people actually get a close-up with the actors and producers and writers.
We
so
have
it's
a
real
small
community-based.
theater. Yes, it's a small theater. It only seats about 90 people. It's a small black box. So we produce shows, and you're right up in there. You're never going to be too far away. And so we like to bring any playwrights and everybody around to sort of be a part of it.
I have to ask, you're located in Grand Center, which is looking better than ever these days. I mean, Grand Center is just fantastic. There is so much theater in St. Louis, which is great, but I imagine it's kind of a blessing and a curse because in some ways you're competing for the same people to come. But talk a little bit about what it's like to have, be in a community with so much theater and arts.
It's kind of amazing because then it creates an amazing pool of artists to pull from, to employ and to work with and collaborate with. There's a big group of designers and everything that we get to use and utilize that work for other organizations. And so it creates this diverse network of a community, and so it can be challenging because there is so many options in the holiday season, especially for entertainment and things like that. But we try to keep it our option edgier and a little funnier or more ridiculous than other people's.
So now, when does your new season starts in January? And what's coming up for the new season? How many shows do you do a year?
We produce 3 full main stage shows, and then we have a Greenhouse New Play Festival where we have people who submit scripts. We choose 3 and put them up on a staged reading for free to the public. So that happens in June. The other shows we've got are, it's called Red Light Winter by Adam Rapp, who's from the brother of Anthony Rapp from Rent.
Sure.
So it's his work, and then we're producing The Normal Heart by Larry Kramer and Reality by Leah Romeo. So it's a very fun, very very heavy issues, but interesting and thought-provoking next year.
What's the best way for people to get tickets, to find out what's going on with Hot City Theater?
The best thing to do is to go to our website, www.hotcitytheater.org with an R-E, theater R-E. And you can find all the information there on our website. And our box office number is 314-289-4063 to call and reserve tickets or get more information about each show.
That sounds fantastic. I love that you do your full shows and then you actually are giving opportunities to other playwrights and giving people a chance to weigh in. That's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we appreciate you spending the time with us, and good luck with this show and this run and your whole new season at Hot City Theater.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Bess Moynihan, Hot City Theater, joining us here on St. Louis Presents. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
And welcome back. Now, St. Louis is rapidly becoming the mecca of the digital world. There's always new apps ready to be downloaded, but did you know some of them originate right here in St. Louis? Krissy, Karl, and Paul Lancia from Vault Media are here to tell us about the Spin Streak app. Welcome, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Let's dive right in. Krissy, Spin Streak app, what is it?
It's a game-based customer loyalty app that provides businesses with customer information and rewards their consumers.
How so?
You go to a business, you scan a QR code, and you might win, you might not, but either way it's collecting data.
Okay, for the rest of us mere mortals, what is a QR code?
You know those squares that have all the little boxes in them that you can scan with your phone?
Okay.
It's an easy gateway to get to a website or anything digital.
Okay, so let me just simplify this. I download an app, I go
Yes.
into a business, and I spin something?
Yes.
That's correct. And the app
Paul?
itself, it's a free mobile app. And so when you go into your iTunes store or Google Play for Android, it's a free app for consumers. So you would download that and install that app one time, and then you're able to use it across America at any participating location. So you download it once, and then you can scan each QR code wherever you're at and spin the wheel to win free prizes from that location.
So if I'm a business owner and a consumer walks in with this app, do I already know which prize I'm giving away?
That's correct. You're actually the key holder to the prizes. So you would actually set the prizes that you want to give away. So if you're a restaurant, want to give away appetizers, 10 of them a week, you would actually set that in the system. And then once you've reached the 10 prizes to be given away, it would lock anybody else from winning that prize. You can also set it to where 1 out of every 5 or 11, you get to set the odds. You're essentially the casino.
Awesome, awesome. Now, what was the inspiration behind the development of this app?
We had a coupon firm. They were used to doing all printed coupons. They're a nationwide company, but they're based here in Missouri as well. They contacted our firm and wanted to do a basic coupon app at first. And then it kind of, as we worked together, it collaborated and came into this.
We've got about 30 seconds. I hate to cut it short because there's so much to talk about, but how is it that St. Louis is playing such a vital role in the digital world? What's with that?
I just think there's a lot of talented people here in the Midwest, and
Really?
there's a cheap cost of living, and
So are we the new frontier as opposed to like Silicon Valley?
That's what they say. That's
Okay,
what they
so
say.
all the
There's
brilliant
lots of
digital
talent here.
minds are here in St. Louis?
All of our developers are local St. Louis guys right here.
Yes.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming in and
for
joining
having
us. Your contact information is up on the graphic, and thank you so much for joining us. It's amazing how St. Louis is becoming the mecca of the digital world in terms of mobile app developments.
That is some great information, Vern. I can't believe it, but we're already out of time today. Is there an app for that? We'd certainly like to thank all of our guests for stopping by the studio today.
Well, we sure had great fun with all of them, and we want to remind you that you can find us on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And you can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.